So tomorrow, the Meg 2, The Trench, comes out, and we had to revisit for me, visit for Kaylee,
Yes.
the Meg, since she'd never seen the first one. I saw the first one in theaters and quite enjoyed it, but I actually enjoyed it even more this time around. And very glad I rewatched it because it got me pretty hyped for part two, and I wasn't that hyped, but now I'm like super hyped, and I'm like super excited to go tomorrow. But you had never seen it, and you're not much of a shark girl outside of Jaws, outside of the obvious. But yeah, like, why don't you like shark movies?
Because I just don't find
Outside of
them.
the fact that most of them are shit.
Yeah, there's that the quality's poor, but also I don't find them that scary because I grew up in Florida, I think, maybe, and I don't know. The thing that scares me about the ocean is more like, I guess, and this is why the Meg kind of works in a way, because it is about, like, deep ocean stuff.
Yeah.
Is that's what I find scarier, is, like, what could be down there that we don't know about. But just like regular sharks, like out in the ocean doing their thing, I don't know. I think it's also because it's a scenario that I would literally never find myself in, even though I would also literally never find myself in like a demonic possession or something like that. For some reason, the fact that I'm just never in the ocean, I would never be in the ocean in a way where I would be stranded and by myself or like with limited resources. So it's just like a scenario that I never think about and never like get freaked out about.
But if you were in the water...
If I was in the water and there were
and a
sharks
shark-
around me, I would be scared.
Sure, I mean...
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it's just not something that you think about and effectively scares you when you think about it.
No. It doesn't.
Yeah, being eaten
I don't
alive
know.
is definitely one of my bigger fears, for sure. That's top 5 worst deaths ever.
I mean, yeah, being eaten alive would be awful, but I guess I think more about like it happening on land than in the water. Because I'm just so rarely in the ocean.
That's why I gotta show you sand sharks. Yeah. Or house shark. Or any
But
of those.
honestly,
There's...
a lot of these movies too, like the shark movies, like giant anaconda movies, and
Yeah.
I don't even think I've seen any of those, but they just have never appealed to me because there's something about like, because it's not that like I like monster movies, like
Yeah.
I like the monsters for sure, but there's something about like giant animals or like killer animals that I just have no interest in, and I think it's because I love animals so much. And I just have a hard time making them into the villain in my mind. Because I'm still just like, they can't help it. Like, the shark can't help that he's a predator and, like, is hunting and stuff. Like,
Right.
you know, I don't know. But humans and, like, monsters and things, it's easier to be like, oh, man, like, fuck them.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. All right. So, this was originally being directed by Eli Roth, who left the project due to his creative differences with the studio, who, of course, wanted it to be PG-13. Eli Roth ain't gonna make no PG-13 horror movie, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's like The House with the Clock in its Walls, but that's like meant for kids. It's a family movie that he purposely made to be a family movie. But if he wants to make a shark movie, he wants to make a shark movie, right? So he wanted an R-rated movie. He wanted to keep the $150 million budget. And he wanted himself to star.
Oh.
He wanted to write it, direct it, and star as Jonas.
Oh, okay.
And
I
the
didn't know
studio was
that.
like, absolutely not.
They're like, no.
You don't have the star power. So they went with John Turteltaub, and he cast, obviously.
Shaw.
No. When the movie started, Kaylee was like, look, it's Hobbs or Shaw. Whichever one.
Yeah, it's so funny because they're such different characters, but they're just like...
They are, but they also play the exact same character in every movie.
Right. That's why I was just like, I don't really feel like their names matter. Because it's just like, it's The Rock and then...
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
Jason...
British guy.
I would say Jason Statham is definitely top 5 he could even possibly be number one on like the same guy in every film of any actor I've ever seen in my entire life, because he does the same voice, the same attitude, the same like mannerisms, the same haircut, beard length, outfits. He's literally the same character in every single film, and I mean down to like aesthetically, accent.
All of it.
I'm talking everything. He doesn't even pretend to try to do a different kind of character.
I don't know if I've seen him really in anything except like, I mean, I recognized his face, but
I'm telling you,
I don't remember him from.
I've seen the dude in literally 50 plus films, and
because he's obviously mostly an action film guy, so I don't know which ones I've seen that I would remember, but like I just think of the Fast and the Furious in this, and like, yeah, that comparison, they're like the same character, really.
Even in John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars, he's
the
same character.
That,
like it doesn't matter. You pick pretty much anything. There's one movie he made, I think, with Guy Ritchie, with it, and he has like anxiety in the movie, so I related to that. In that movie, he wears like a wig. He has like longer hair. And I was like very shocked to see it, because he's always like the buzzed and the length, like the beard length and the hair length. They're using the same trimmer all the way around. They just go circular all the way around. It's all the same length.
You said him in a wig, and I instantly thought of like really long black hair.
No, shorter than mine, but it's definitely odd to see him. But he plays a character named Jonas here. You can call him Shaw. You can call him Jason Statham. You might as well just be Jason in every movie. It is pretty incredible that he really is the same guy in every movie. But whatever. I like him.
It's typecast.
So it is one of those things where it's like, if you like that, it's fine.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then you're like, oh, this. Here we go again. This fucking guy again. Right? So I get it. Anyway. All right. So this movie had a $178 million budget and grossed $530 million. So that warranted a sequel 5 years later. And yeah, I'm super curious on this one, on the sequel, but let's talk about the first one. All right. So we've got this billionaire played by
Dwight Schrute. From The Office.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that Rainn Wilson? Isn't that his name?
I actually don't know the actor's name.
Pretty sure that's his name. He's in
You're probably right. He's in
House of a Thousand Corpses. Yeah. I mean, I've seen him in tons of stuff. Rainn Wilson, that's his name.
I'm sure. Right. I'm horrible with the names.
Anyways, he plays this like billionaire, and I don't know. I've never dealt with billionaires, right? But the fact that he comes to the Mono One that he owns, and he's put all of his money into, which is suspect immediately because like it's investors and whatever, but regardless, I guess he's fronting the entire bill this time. He comes down there, and the doctor explains to him, like, if there's no... They say that in the movie, the whole idea is that at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, that they're going to go down there, and where they think the bottom is not actually the bottom. It's a layer of hydrogen sulfide. Mm-hmm. And if he's wrong, then he wasted $1.3 billion.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're serious? Are you serious? That scene to me seemed insanely unbelievable, but also at the same time, I'm like, is it possible that someone with that much money would just be like, oh yeah, I'll invest in this thing without like a business model? Without like them coming and being like, I just feel like in order to get $1.3 billion,
yeah, sure.
You gotta come with a plan and be like, listen, at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, I think below that, because like, what's his point in investing in this if that's literally all they're doing? Because he's like, you wasted your money if this isn't right. So that's literally the point of this thing. I don't know how they're going to make so much money in return. This is another thing I'm completely unclear about. I'm like, he's like, oh, we're going to be rich. I'm like, off of finding new fish?
Yeah, they can't, like, claim. They're not going to put a flag down there and be like, we are colonizing the bottom of the ocean.
We own this land, and we're selling it.
Yeah, I don't know how they would make.
How do they make money off that?
I guess off of because like, aren't they designing the subs that go down there too, like the devices? So maybe
no, but it's all about like what, because the subs go down there anyway. And he's like, you wasted your money if we don't go below the hydrogen sulfide.
Yeah.
So if it's like, if they go down there and they hit the ground and it's just ground, then he's like, your money's gone.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, the sub doesn't matter because they're only going down not that much further, right? Like, in comparison to how far they already are down. I mean, if they can get to the bottom of the Marianas Trench, which is literally the deepest place on the planet, you don't need to go any deeper than the deepest place. So if they got the technology, that works. That's not the point. And you're not making $1.3 billion off of a submarine that can go to the bottom of the Marianas Trench because nobody fucking goes there, right? It's not like something that people need. I mean, they could maybe sell it to people who are like trying to do space travel and like work with them and be like, hey man, we survived the pressure of the ocean. It'll survive the pressure of space, I guess, but that's not the case. I genuinely don't understand how they're supposed to make like money in that magnitude. Like, where it'd have to be like lucrative enough to invest $1 billion into, or it's like, if you're going to invest $1 billion, you want at least a couple $1 billion in return, right? On top of your
Is there some like award for like Nobel Peace Prizes are not for like discoveries, right? Those
it wouldn't even matter. That's billions of dollars.
Do they give you money? No,
they're like here's $3 billion for finding a lower piece of the earth.
I guess it could be like you get like grant money to continue your research.
You're
like,
a billionaire.
He's
you don't need
it.
grant money.
I know, but then he would get paid back from the grant. I don't know what his plan is at all.
I don't either. They don't explain that.
I mean, but his character kind of sucks in general. Like, he has a moment where it's like, oh, maybe he's okay, but then overall, he's kind of just a greedy billionaire the whole time.
I think he's okay. He doesn't want to cop to his mistake because it doesn't want it to look bad to his business, which is really lame. But it costs him his life, and more importantly, multiple other people their lives, including all the people on the beach and everything, right? Because that's like his fault for not telling the military, because the military probably would have been able to come out there and take it down.
Yeah, of course.
But him and his little mercenary group overestimate themselves and not only get themselves killed, but they also end up getting everyone else who dies from there killed. So, I mean, them just going down there in the first place, this is that like tale as old as time kind of thing, right? It reminds me of course, like Lord of the Rings, where the dwarves dig too greedily and too deep, and they release the Balrog. It's like, some places are just not meant to be tampered. Some places are just not meant to be seen. And sometimes, we just think like, we're the masters of the universe with He-Man, and we can just do anything, and we can go anywhere, and that there's no place off limits to humans. And sometimes, you do something and it ends up costing you big. And in this regard, they go down there and it's like, oh, we did something nobody could do before. And, fuck around and find out, right?
They found out.
Well, they found out. They really found out. I think what's always like really funny about these kinds of movies, though, and this is the case of almost all these like big animal monster type movies, is like most animals don't kill for like fun or just for whatever. Right? They either kill for food or they kill for territory, protection of their kids, stuff like that. But with sharks feed, right? And when sharks are fed, they don't really have interest in anything anymore, right? And so like a megalodon just going around and just chomping everyone and everything in its path is just asinine. It's like, it's not gonna be that hungry. It's like, it's saying 830 people, it's good. It's gonna go swim away for a while. And it doesn't, it's not vengeful.
But it is vengeful in this.
Sure, of like, course. That's how they have to write
It's kind of like
them.
the Jaws thing, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a smart and evil animal. And I think the coolest thing about this film is the idea that it's like a prehistoric animal that was, surviving on the planet this whole time. Because that's what I think the Loch Ness Monster could be and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
But there would need to be many of them.
And there are many.
And I'm sure that's what part 2 is going to be about.
Yeah, they were all down there. Obviously in this one, like, they break through that barrier, so they make like this like little heat stream in the ocean that lets him come up, and multiple come up. Yeah. So I don't know how the other ones will get released. But
I don't know. It's called The Trench, so I'm assuming they go back.
They obviously.
I saw very small pieces of the trailer, but I mostly avoided it. I saw the dinosaur thing with the T-Rex on the beach, which I doubt's even in the movie.
All I know from the trailer, or all I remember, I should say, is just the girl being like, "This is Meg-proof," and then it like chomping through the glass and biting her.
That's super annoying that's in the trailer, but you can guess that's gonna happen. As soon as she says that, you're like, she's gonna get chomped. So I mean, it's so obvious. It's like, we might as well show you because you know it's happening. Yeah. Right. So.
That's true.
I mean, I think the most interesting thing to me for sure is just that a megalodon ever existed. That this thing was real on this planet at one point. Like, it's crazy. Like, the dinosaur era is such a wild time for this planet that we have proof of. Who knows what happened 2 billion years ago, but from what record we have, what still has fossils, what we can still prove that happened, it's like the Velociraptors and the Tyrannosaurus Rexes and the freaking Egyptosauruses and all that shit, like, and the Megalodon and that thing in Jurassic World, the big crocodile thing that's like the size of a fucking like cruise liner.
Yeah, they don't even feel real. They don't feel like they feel like made up.
The scale is what's crazy.
That's why they don't feel real to me.
It's the size of like our whole apartment.
I know.
Like, what?
We're like little rodents to them. It would be like if all of a sudden mice.
Yeah, we're like snacks.
Well, no, it would be like if like a billion years in the future, it's mice running around and they have like little like cities like we do, like as far as the size
like,
difference.
Oh my god, the people.
And they're like, oh my god, the humans. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
that's
pretty
what
much.
It's like. We're the little tiny mice in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff for sure. I definitely, it's interesting watching this movie now versus when it came out because of the Titan submersible that just imploded.
Oh yeah. I was kind of thinking of it a little bit, I think, at some point in the film.
Like, I was just thinking about, just the fact that, in the beginning of the movie, Jonas goes down there, tries to rescue these guys, and their nuclear sub implodes after the shark hits it a few times when they're down there. And then the doctor in this is like such an asshole.
Yeah, he
because
really is.
Like, he was there.
I know.
Like, it would be one thing if he wasn't there.
Right.
But the fact that he's there.
Yeah.
He was on, like, he was on the ground. He was on the ground with them, right? And there was no time to get those guys. They literally break, the lock.
Yeah.
Right? They fly, they start to rise to the surface, like, seconds. He's like, gotta go. He hits it, boom. They go up and it blows up a second later. Like, what was they supposed to do exactly?
It's really shitty of him, too, because it's like he does that to save everybody else. And
sure, it would have killed him if they stayed.
In scenarios like that, where it's like you have to choose who lives and dies, and like making a sacrifice, Nobody wants to have to make that choice. It's not like he was like, yeah, I can't wait to kill these guys. Like, if he could have saved everybody, he would have. But I do like that at least the doctor, like, later on does apologize and is like, I was wrong, like, I'm sorry. And so that's, like, a redemption for me.
And he sacrifices himself.
And he sacrifices himself, which is also, like, the ultimate redemption. But I will say that the going down in the sub, like, that is something that is freaky.
Of course.
Yeah, because, like, you can't, it's just like space. Like, you just won't survive. If something goes wrong, like, you're dead. Like, you're just...
As we just learned.
Just dead.
Yeah. As we just learned with the Titan.
There's just no way. It's not like...
As soon as they went missing, I was like, they imploded. They died. They're never going to find them.
Get out and swim.
And even if you could find them, there's no way to rescue them. This is a movie. They have that ability to go down and lock on and this and that. That's not real. Like, if they would have found those guys in the Titan, unless they could, like, jumpstart them somehow or something, like, they can't get them out of the ship.
Yeah, they'd have to pull the ship.
But there's no, like, way to, like, hook on and pull them up.
Yeah,
right? Like, they knew they were fucked. As soon as they went missing, they knew they were fucked because either their battery went dead or they were, like, caught up in the Titanic wreckage because they tried to, like, go through it or whatever. But they blew up very shortly after they left. Very
Which
very
is
shortly.
at least, I guess, like, something to be grateful about, that they were, like, instantaneously dead.
They did say...
Like...
They did say in there, though, that they absolutely would have known they were in trouble.
That's awful, of course.
So, like, they had to know it was coming when it happened. And that's just horrifying.
That's horrible, yeah.
But the good thing is that death is beyond instantaneous.
Right.
As soon as it went,
you're not, like, sitting there drowning.
No,
and, like,
they definitely did not
dark
drown.
Or whatever. You're just explode.
There's nothing to recover.
Yeah,
They're
awful.
just, like, liquid. It's crazy to even think about. So anyway, terrible, awful
Yeah,
stuff.
really horrible.
But
in this, they're like, lock on.
Yeah, outside of the couple that stay behind. But this is the doctor doing that. It's like, dude, what? Come on, you were there. You know we don't have any time. Anyways, so they get down there, and into the trench. They find, oh, we made it. And then, of course, they get hit by the Meg. Their ship goes dark. And then they all panic up top. And they're like, we have 18 hours. We only have 18 hours. Which is a long time. That's a lot of backup oxygen for 3 people. Mm-hmm. But actually, that's not much. I'm saying the opposite. That's not much. Because I want to say Titan, they had like 4 days, right? Mm-hmm. Like 96 hours or something, if I remember correctly. I remember it was like 4-day countdown. And it was like after the 4th day, we were like, they're dead now. Even if they find them, they're dead. Yeah. But we figured they were dead by that point anyway. So 18 hours isn't long. But regardless, 18 hours, and they're in China, and they're like, hey, want to take a helicopter to Thailand? And go try to, like, talk someone into, like, it just doesn't feel like they have enough time to get on a helicopter, fly to Thailand, and then try to pick Jonas up, fly back, get him sober, get him, tested to see if he can drop down there. When the main Asian chick, the one whose dad is like the main doctor, she seems to be pretty okay to go.
Yeah,
she takes another submersible.
She just goes down.
You think that she could have just taken the other one?
Sure.
Right? Because he like speeds down there.
Yeah, he does.
And it's like he wouldn't have needed to speed down there had they just immediately went.
Right.
But he is a rescue guy. I get it. And it wouldn't have worked because they didn't know what they were up against, and it's only because Jonas goes down that it ends up working out. But in reality, they didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, of course they didn't think it was going to happen. But, I don't know about the timing. I don't know how long it takes to fly to Thailand from China in a helicopter. And Jonas, he is a fly by the seat of his pants
yeah.
kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
So him like rushing down there, he wasn't even supposed to do that though. Like he's like bypassing all of the like safety functions because obviously like the one thing I know about like diving is that you have to do a time like it in increments, otherwise you have issues even if you're in like a pressurized space.
Correct.
And he's just like, psh. They're like, you're gonna black
and he's
out.
He's like blowing. He's trying to equalize.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to do that either. I don't know. Maybe you are. Maybe you're supposed to do that. I don't know. I literally never have any interest in diving. So
I know that
I'm not gonna do it.
I know that Jason Statham is a professional swimmer.
Oh.
So like he did the majority of like all of his water work in this.
That's cool.
He did some like I want to say some like Olympics or something when he was younger. The dude is in fucking shape.
Yeah, he is like very ripped, but
like no, but if you've ever seen like I've watched his stuff like behind the scenes of like his workouts and stuff, the guy is an absolute psychopath. Like he's crazy. His control over his body is second to none. It's absolutely incredible. And he's like 50 something in this movie, right? And in the new one, he's like in his mid 50s, and dude never ages, and his body always looks exactly the same. He is so committed to his workout, his regimens and whatnot. So hey, good for him.
Yeah.
I know that Ruby Rose almost died drowning on this movie.
Oh my gosh.
I guess her outfit or whatever got way too heavy and was like pulled her under, and like divers had to jump in and pull her out.
Ugh. Awful.
I feel like every movie that deals with water like this has like a near drowning on it. Like almost every single one of them that I've listened to, whether it's The Abyss, which had like multiple almost drownings, to like so many movies that deal with a lot of water.
Yeah.
There's always at least like one or two cast members, usually, that like almost drown.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, like
the water movies, people are like, no.
like, you want me to go where?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I mean, yeah, like, I feel like you definitely can underestimate, like, how difficult it would be to be, like, performing in water and doing stunts in water. And all it takes is, like, something being too heavy and weighing you down or getting caught on something or whatever.
Yeah.
And you panicking and breathing in water and, like, yeah, it's super dangerous. So.
I mean, I've almost drowned in the ocean, so it's very simple. Yeah. It can happen to anybody. Wave hits you hard enough, whatever, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So terrifying stuff. I like that when they're at the bottom of the Marianas Trench and their power goes out, they get cold, because that is a huge issue. They'll freeze to death down there. It's super, super cold, and I like that that's addressed. It was cool to see the dude from Heroes in here. Hero is his name in that show. In this, it's Toshi.
Yeah.
And it's really sad when he sacrifices himself.
He puts the note to his wife.
And then when the doctor comes in, he's like, basically like, you're the guy who leaves people behind. That's why Toshi died. God. I was like, bro, I'm about to beat you up myself through the screen.
Well, that's what she says, right? She's like, you're the guy who leaves people behind.
Oh, is that what she says?
Yeah, she like attacks him for it, and it's
you're
awful.
right,
and
but the doctor says something.
He says something similar to like, "This is what you do" or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they both kind of gang up on him at different times, though. But yeah, it's awful because it's like he didn't do anything there. Like he didn't even touch the hatch.
People, unfortunately, people when they're emotional, they don't think straight, and they say terrible things. And she makes up for it. She blows him later, 100%.
Yeah, they definitely have a relationship that develops.
I'll be curious on if anyone but Statham is in the next movie. Like, will he still be dating?
I know.
Bing Bing.
Yeah, I don't know. Her daughter's really adorable.
Super cute.
Super, super
We were hoping that this was going to be far enough in the future that the daughter would be old enough to like go diving with them.
Yeah.
Because like, big question here: why the fuck is this daughter with them after the shark is loose and they're like out on the water and she's like on the boat and then she falls into the water and all that with the other dude? Why is she there?
She should be on land.
Yes.
Like in the middle of a continent where the shark cannot get her.
Dead center
But I guess
in
it's
Africa.
like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why she's there. The dad is off with the Pilates instructor, so he can't watch her.
They work on $1 billion facility.
They could send her somewhere.
They have a billionaire who owes them literally anything.
Yeah, they'd be like, can you send my daughter somewhere?
They're both
land?
her mom and her grandfather are super wealthy, from what I can tell. She can get sent.
She definitely could.
And they could have sent her to freaking Jason Statham's place in Thailand.
Sure.
Something.
Anything.
Not the water, not the ocean. Why the hell is she out there?
I don't know. For drama.
Yes, for
so
drama.
She can fall into the water and 100%. Like, she's in the water.
Ridiculous. And yeah, this thing is, it went extinct 2 million years ago. So obviously it would have to have multiple, but so this, of course, to me is ridiculous because, like, number one, I don't think nothing that lives at that depth can live at sea level.
Well, there's that, and also I want to know, like, obviously it's been alive down there, but, like, and maybe this is what you're talking about, but aren't there different, like, microorganisms in different depths of the ocean?
Sure,
like,
and
so
plus it would be
like breathing.
It would be blind, too. Because anything down there, outside of those, like, fish that have, like, the light bulbs on the front of their head.
It was all dark.
It's all darkness, and they lose their vision eventually.
How do they even move around? Echolocation? Do they have that, like bats?
I mean, I'd have to look
at
the shit down there. They've researched some of it, but they've explored more of, like, Mars than they have our ocean.
Which is wild. That's why the deep ocean stuff is scary. Of course.
Because we don't know what's down there.
We don't know. It's mermaids or freaking Cthulhu or
black
whatever.
mermaids. That would be really funny if we found mermaids and they look like black people.
And you'd be like...
Then I'd be like, ah ha ha ha. You got super upset, but they were just being accurate. They were just being accurate, Ariel.
I don't know that the shark would be able to come up.
No,
like,
we couldn't.
He's literally, like, by the shore.
It just stopped every little bit and then equalized. Right. It was just like...
No. Yeah, I mean, but, like...
And Megalodons lived up on the surface back in the 2 million years ago. So, what brought them down into the trench?
Well, he comes up and he's like, where are all the other dinosaurs at? He's like... I didn't know I was down there that long.
Yeah. It's like a time paradox down there. He just swam down for a quick lunch. And then he came up and he was like, where are all my peeps at?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't like these peeps. I'm going to eat these peeps.
He does.
Mama.
He does eat the peeps, except for the one kid with the popsicle.
Oh, Jesus, that kid.
Yeah.
That's the Kittner boy of this movie. And in movies like this, the scientists always want to keep the specimen alive, no matter what.
Sure.
They're like, no, you can't. You don't understand the significance.
Why are you Loomis?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I mean, that's also, I think, why these movies, like, tend to be sad or bad, not work for me, because I don't want to kill them either. I want them to just, like, live their lives, like, go back down there and be with all the other, like, blind fishies.
I don't really understand the scene where they're like, don't make a sound, like, if you do anything, no vibrations. And then, like, literally 10 seconds later, one of the guys who jumped off of his own volition, like, jumped out, got a speedboat, started it up, brought it over to them, and then they took off in it, and they're like, awesome!
I don't know, I guess it's because the speedboat, like, I mean, yes, it should still be able to follow it because it's vibrations.
Of course!
There's something about, like...
It follows them everywhere.
When you thrash, like, when you're kicking your legs in the water, like, that's different.
They're literally on the remains of a broken boat.
Yeah.
Because he took a boat down.
Right.
And then they're like, no vibrations, and then they go and get a boat.
Kicking your feet, kicking your legs.
Why'd you take out the boat?
I'm saying that you're right. It is the vibration.
Yes.
No matter what, but I think it's supposed to be like more noticeable.
It's so obvious that the shark that they kill that they think is the Megalodon is way too small.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, dude, that's not even that much bigger than like some of the great whites we have in the world right now. This thing is like so much bigger.
Yeah.
Like when it comes up and eats that guy, it's like that thing is bigger than your boat.
Yeah, it is.
So why did you think that this was the shark? I don't understand. You guys are like genius scientists. This isn't like some rednecks out there that are like, we got ourselves a shark. You know, like the tiger shark in Jaws when they string him up and they're like, we got him. It's like that, but it's because they are kind of doing homages to Jaws, right?
Yeah.
The popsicle kid's kind of like the Kittner boy with the mom, and the shark hanging up like that's like the tiger shark in Jaws, and you know, so on and so forth. But
I don't know why they don't recognize it. They're just like all emotionally traumatized and like, it's over, we killed it.
What'd you think about Ruby Rose going to restyle her hair?
Oh my god.
After she fell in the water.
I hated her hairstyle this whole movie. She's a really pretty woman. But her hair in this...
That like wannabe dreadlocks
it's
gelled?
not even that. Yeah, it's just like it looks wet and gelled like the whole time. But
almost looks like an anime character.
No,
like the hair is like spiky.
No, it's
no.
I just did not like it. It was really awful. I thought it looked so bad the whole
Sonic
time.
the Hedgehog.
Like why? What? What? Just look like you have a ton of product in your hair. Like it wasn't even spiky. Like I don't know. Whatever. It was bad. I didn't like it. All I could think of was her in Resident Evil going back into the like.
Oh my goodness.
The vent. I'm like, yeah, with that hair, bye.
Did you know that Disney was the first company to actually acquire the rights to this movie in the early 90s?
No.
And we're going to try to make it. Disney.
What?
Like what?
What?
Maybe through like, you know, one of their subsidiaries.
Yeah. Like
one of their branched off studios, like Miramax and like some places like that. Because, like, Disney presents the Megalodon. Like,
it's just
what?
Mickey Mouse, and he's like, ho ho.
Well, he just comes up and he's like, hey, kids.
The Megalodon?
He's like, yeah, he's like a buddy, but, like, he's, like, misunderstood.
Kids, nice to eat ya.
Yeah. Are you ready for some Megalodon pizza? But Jason Statham, or Jonas, is so badass in this, he can take a Megalodon out with his bare hands.
He can.
Yeah. He straight up does.
I mean, yeah, my whole suspension of belief in this film
was suspended
beyond like the suspension normally is. So I believed that.
You like threw yourself in the water and your suspension was buoyant.
It was like
it just flew away.
Bounced off the planet.
Yeah, it asks a lot.
It does ask a lot because like he might be very strong. But he's not a very tall man.
He could take out a Megalodon. You're telling me that if he was 7 feet tall, he could take him out?
I'm saying I would believe it more if he was like the size of The Rock or some other tall guy.
So you
tall buff guy.
I don't believe you. I think if we watched this movie and it was The Rock, you still would be like, I'm calling bullshit.
I probably would. Yeah.
He's a human.
He's a
human.
A human versus a Megalodon is not
in the water.
Is not a battle
by hand.
You're right.
Yeah, it's nonsense. It's definitely.
Do you think? Okay, maybe not a human. Do you think a zombie?
Like in Zombie, like Lucille Fulci's Zombie.
What about that? Zombie versus Megalodon.
Megalodon.
Megalodon?
Just eats the zombie. Its mouth is as big as the zombie itself. What is it gonna do? And it's slow.
Yeah.
It just.
But it's scary. The Megalodon's gonna be like. He's like.
The Megalodon's gonna be like.
He's like, I've been down there on this trench for so long, but I ain't seen nothing that scary before.
Bro, what?
Yeah.
Anyways, alright, that's that. The Meg. Look forward to the Meg to the Trench review coming at you tomorrow. From two people who are looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Good.
I had a fun time watching this one. It's definitely it was a more entertaining shark movie for me because it wasn't, like, I don't know.
But you haven't seen, like, The Shallows.
Or, like, Sand Sharks or whatever it was.
No, The Shallows is, like, the Blake Lively
Shallows.
one. It's a good movie.
We watched The Shallows, I thought. Maybe we didn't.
No.
We watched
47 meters down,
which I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched some other one where we were laughing so much at the CGI.
Well, we watched The Reef 2.
We watched
Stalked.
The Reef 2.
But did you watch The Reef 1? Or did we just jump to 2?
I think we just jumped to 2, but I don't remember.
There's a decent amount of... The Reef is very good.
Maybe.
Shallows is good.
I'm, like, really doubting if we watched The Shallows or not.
You've never seen Deep Blue Sea.
No.
You've never... See, she's never seen any good shark movies. This is
I don't
why.
watch any shark movies. I'm not a shark girl.
Deepest, bluest. My hat is like a shark fin.
What?
That's the theme song for Deep Blue Sea, sung by LL Cool
My hat
J.
is like a shark fin?
I think it's my head is like a shark fin.
What?
My head or my hat. I can't remember what the lyric is exactly. Deepest, bluest. My head is like a shark fin. I think it's my head. So,
what?
Deep Blue Sea. Gotta show it to her one of these days.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
My head is like a shark fin?
Yes.